Goodbye, Dead Space. At long last, goodbye. For now. And I'll get to why it's for now towards the end of this video. But at the moment, you're here to hear about the struggle of the Dead Space franchise. To hear about my struggling with this whole Dead Space video series and how weird that has been. I imagine it won't change over the course of the release of the last 8 videos, but my Dead Space videos have consistently performed pretty bad on my channel in comparison to the other stuff I make, which is saying a lot, because a lot of videos I make don't get many views at all. Most videos that I make, except for recently, and I say that lightly, because recently I think I've gotten better at making videos, and just from daily content, people are watching more, but that's besides the point. Dead Space has a significant dip in views, and always has. The first video I made of Dead Space, if you don't know, it came out in October of, if I'm not mistaken, it came out in October, maybe early November, but I'm pretty sure it was October of 2020. That's how long ago that was. I posted that video before Unus Annus was deleted, just to put things in perspective. That's when I posted my first Dead Space episode. That's how long this series has been in the works for me. It's a pretty short explanation what happened immediately after. I played the first mission, edited the first video of the first mission, and when I went back to play the second mission, I was locked out of my 360 account. And it's a 360 game being played on my Xbox One's Xbox 360 emulator. Basically, my Xbox One had a miniature Xbox 360 inside of it that would use my Xbox 360 account to play Dead Space. And for some reason, I got locked out of my Xbox 360 account, so I couldn't play any 360 games on my console. And I couldn't play it on the 360 that is in my house either. So I just couldn't play Dead Space for basically a year, is what that amounted to. It basically led up to a year before I officially got that problem fixed with my Xbox 360 account. And so then, eventually, once I got back into it, I did play Dead Space again, and I didn't replay the first mission. I started on Mission 2. Mission 2 was very, very fun to play, and more importantly, to edit. It was a 20-minute video at the end of it, cut down from an hour worth of footage, and it took me over 20 hours to edit that video. And if you've been on my channel for a while, you've heard this part of the story before. It took me a while to make that video, and I'm very proud of that video. I stand by the fact that I think it's the best gaming video I've ever made. But I kind of had to take a step back at that point and realize that I couldn't do that with the rest of the franchise. The game, just playing Dead Space. I couldn't do that because I was just getting started in the game. I mean, clearly, you can see that there's 23 episodes. I was on episode 2. It would have taken me so much time to edit to that detail. And I also got lazy and made some pretty bad quality videos for a little bit there, and got very disappointed in myself, which made it even harder for me to make Dead Space content. And so I continued to make it for a while, but the content began to slow down, and I think at some points it was decently consistent, but it was few and far between that I actually made Dead Space videos. And eventually that dropped off completely, and I just stopped making them at, I want to say, around part 10 is when I truly stopped for a bit. I think I came back and made a part 11 at some point, breaking the silence. I don't remember exactly how all the timing worked out. I know that 11 is where I really stopped. For like a while, like several months, I stopped. And then I wanted to push myself leading up to what I'm doing right now, making daily videos for a year. And I didn't even have that planned out yet. What I knew I was going to do was make a Unus Annus Memoriam video. And so 2 weeks before that video released, I set out to try and finish Dead Space, my series, and I failed again. I made 4 videos of my Dead Space series, and I released them 4 days in a row. Just straight up released them day after day after day, and then basically made an announcement, I think in a vlog that I posted before I did that I would just go silent for the next 2 weeks on my channel. I wouldn't be posting anything because I was going to be working on my Unus Annus Memoriam video, and that's what I did. I could have managed my time better. I could have finished Dead Space while also working on the Unisonus Memoriam video, but that's besides the point. This whole thing has been a learning journey for me. Not just Dead Space, but YouTube in general. But especially Dead Space has been a learning journey for me. So that all happened, and then I committed to making daily content when I posted the Memoriam video for a full year, and so that threw Dead Space out the window, because I had basically no motivation to make Dead Space videos. I mean, I had beaten myself into the ground with it, and I continuously felt disappointed with the Dead Space videos I made, even when I made episodes 12, 13, 14, and 15 that were higher quality than the previous ones, and I wasn't really being lazy with them. I'm sure I was a little bit, but more than anything, I was just pressed for time, and so that's why they couldn't be as good as I would have wanted them to be. But I just wasn't as proud of them as I wished I was, and that was the consistent theme with Dead Space since episode 2, since after episode 2. Episode 3 to episode 15, it felt like I was just failing over and over again, and so the series had kind of beat me down into the ground in that respect, and I just didn't want to do it. It was like demoralizing to make Dead Space videos, and that's why I had struggled in the first place, and I just didn't want to do it. And so roll back around, at some point I make a plan after I make the daily video commitment that I'm going to finish the series before the end of 2021, and that obviously doesn't happen. I didn't even make a single video before the end of 2021. I just, again, gave up on it. It was demoralizing, and I didn't even want to try and make the videos, so I failed at forcing myself to do so. Moving on to 2022, and vacation plans start to arise, and as soon as they do, I realize that I have to set things in motion to plan vacation videos, and at that point, something clicks in my brain and says, this is the opportunity. This is the perfect opportunity to finish the Dead Space series, because you can take your time and edit these videos over time, as opposed to trying to edit a video in like a day or something. You can do one Dead Space video a week in the 2 months leading up to a vacation, and that's 8 videos right there. Except I think it was like 3 months before where I was thinking about doing all of this, so I had plenty of time. So one week I sat down and I edited episode 17, and I was proud of episode 17. And I did it in one day too. I didn't spread it out throughout the week. I just did it on a day where I had time to do it. And then the same thing the next week. I did episode 17. Yeah, so 16 was that week. Then I did episode 17 the next week. Same thing. Felt proud of it. Doing really well. I literally didn't think about the series until this past week since then. I knew what was coming. I knew what I had to do. And I just didn't do it. I got caught up with trying to stick in with daily content. I started trying to work on video scripts again. I started trying to finish a lot of future cool projects that I have working on that still aren't finished, that have been in my back pocket for months to over a year at this point, depending upon which one I'm talking about. So I've been working on that kind of stuff, and I tried to get back into that, and also tried to get back into the charity campaign with Halo. I got more into that, and then Five Nights at Freddy's got in the mix in there, and I can't even handle juggling the two of those at the same time. Dead Space just kind of fell by the wayside again. And so then enter about 4 days ago, where I'm hitting crunch time, and I have 1 week to make enough videos for 3 weeks, over 21 videos, and I have to make it in a week. So one day I sit down and I have 5 more Dead Space videos to make, which I will eventually, and in the editing process I will split into 6, which is why there's 8 total episodes releasing, because the final episode I decided I wanted the boss fight to be separate, as you've already seen. So I sat down and I stayed up to an ungodly hour at 5 a.m. I started editing at about 5 p.m., maybe 4 p.m., so I was editing for over 12 hours straight, or right out 12 hours straight, just making 6 videos. About 2 hours of video, getting it uploaded, getting the thumbnail, just everything. And they were not at all quality that would have made me proud. It was similar quality to what I had made, that made me depressed about what I was making. But, and this is kind of part of the learning journey that I had, I kind of just accepted that this series is what it is, because whenever I first made the series, I was trying so hard, even on the first video that I ever made for the series, And I kind of set that precedent for myself after I made the second video. Mentally, I said to myself that my Dead Space videos had to be special. Every single one of them had to be me trying my hardest to make the best content I possibly could. And I just couldn't fathom how much work that was going to take for a series this long. And it fell apart after the third episode, and that, again, demoralized me. And it took me until about 4 days ago, when I edited all of those videos in one day, that I was able to be proud of the simple work I had done for a simple gaming video series that is not important in the grand scheme of things of my channel. What was important is that I actually sat down and did the work and finished the series in the first place, and if I could have accepted that months ago, we wouldn't have had to wait this long for me to do it. But I had to go through the learning process and figure out that it's okay to not force a standard, an arbitrary standard, on something like this unless I really want to set out to do that, like making daily videos, which is something I really want to set out to do, and so I'm pouring my energy into that as hard as I can. But it's not equivalent. It doesn't translate to the Dead Space making every single video as best as I can. And I did make them as best as I can in the time that I had, but time be damned, make them as good as I possibly can, no matter how much time it takes me. That's not something that's worth it when it comes to just making Dead Space videos. And in a way, the rest of the series, episode 1 and episode 2, I poured my heart into making, and they took a toll out of me, like as far as me just working on it and pouring on every single idea that I could come up with into it, and taking all the editing skills I had and putting it into it. Episode 1 nowhere near as good as episode 2 because I didn't know nearly as much about editing at the time. But episode 3 through episode 23, the next 20 episodes of the series, kind of as a whole, had that same thing for me, where I had to really just learn something from it, like I did episode 1 and 2. Learn skills of mine, but more on a grander scale of YouTube as opposed to just making gaming videos, and how I can push through things, and how I work through not wanting to make a video series or not wanting to make videos in general, and how I can combat that, and logical conclusions as to why it's okay to not make a perfect video in my mind, what I would consider to be a perfect video, and not just see it as me making up excuses, because time is a real constraint that we all have to deal with. All of these things I've learned significantly from the last 20 videos of Dead Space. So, it's been a journey. It has been very much so a journey for me, and I thank you all for joining me on it. Everyone who has, or if you're just watching this video and listening to me tell you about it, as opposed to watching 23 videos that are 30 plus minutes long, yeah, I don't blame you for watching all that. It's not exactly incredibly entertaining in comparison to some of the stuff that I make nowadays. Again, it was recorded almost a year ago. I wasn't as good at what I was doing. I recognize that these videos probably aren't going to perform very well. I haven't posted them yet, but you're already seeing the results of that. Whether or not that comment ages well, I don't know. I wouldn't expect them to perform well, and I'm okay with that. And I accepted that while I was editing them, knowing full well that I couldn't salvage my past self's lack of practice compared to what I have now with editing. That's just not how it works. You can't fix everything in post. You cannot fix a lack of entertainment in post. It's just not what you can do. And I'm not saying that I was completely unentertaining. I think that there is entertainment value to be had in my Dead Space playthrough. I think most of it comes from the game itself, but I think that there is general entertainment value to be had. It's just not what I can provide today. But that's okay. Like I said, the whole thing's been a learning experience, and I'm done now. I've pushed past it, and I've finally finished it and extrapolated lessons out of it that I can carry forward and do better next time. So that's the whole point of all this. Thank you so much for watching. And yeah, I will catch you in the next one. Go do some things that make you uncomfortable, because it will make you more comfortable in your own shoes. It's been a while since you heard that one, I think. Actually, no, because of the way I split episodes, but whatever. It's, you know what I mean. But I'm back to more present me now that the Dead Space videos are over. So, yeah, I'll catch you in the next one.